A lot of people have mixed feelings about the latest version 11 Tesla software update. I do as well. It's not that I don't like the overall user interface or UI design, aside from the BlackBerry, Facebook style icons, but my complaints are more about the user experience or UX. So I decided to take a stab at tackling some of the UX issues pointed out by myself and many others. I'll start with the car and park. The main focus areas are the upper left and the bottom bar. Don't get hung up on the UI design, the look and feel. If I were actually working at Tesla, this would go through iterations of changes based on feedback. Instead, pay more attention to the UX, how you use and interact with the interface. So in the top left is the area for important driver information. This is the part of the screen you can see in your peripheral vision at a glance. Basically, when you drive, you need to know how fast you're going, where you're going, and how much battery you have to get there. The battery indicator is larger for easy glance, and honestly, we don't need a tiny Duracell-shaped icon like on your phone. Just let me see the indication of how full it is without even taking my eyes off the road. So you can see here, I have the status at 69%. And then when we get to 30%, the bars turn yellow, and then red when it's below 10%. I'll come back to the other top areas in just a bit. Below this is the regenerative braking indicator line, just as we've had for a while, followed by standard indicator and warning icons for lights, brakes, etc. Next, I wanted to completely rework the bottom bar. The biggest complaint I and others have is that everything is buried in a menu now. Unless you live in Southern California or Florida, you might use the seat heaters up to 6 months out of the year. Now you don't even know if they're even on until you feel it burning your butt without opening a menu. Since everyone has different preferences as to what is important, I figured this bar should be completely customizable for both driver and passenger. So what I did was created static functionality at each end, and then completely customizable bar in the middle, not only for apps, but for car functions like defrosters and seat heaters. In this design, there ended up being space for 13 icons, plus the menu button to open the tray of all the apps and functions. Each space can be filled or empty at any time. So here you see the bar is almost full, with seat heater, defroster, dash cam, and media all close to the driver, and then Netflix, Sonic the Hedgehog, and passenger seat heater on the passenger end. So in addition to being able to open an entire category like media or arcade, you could have individual apps here. Here you see the same bar with only minimal apps needed. If no one needs seat heaters or defrosters, just remove them. And if you want your music apps in the middle for both people to easily reach, you can do that too. To see more, tap the button to the left and open the app tray pop-up, with all car functions and apps categorized. Any of these could be added to the app bar. One new icon I added to the static functions bar was a toggle to show and hide navigation. If you aren't using navigation, no need to have it showing, but you might still want an indicator to see that it's active. This is also helpful when in full screen visualization mode to be able to bring up the navigation options. On the left center of the screen, I made a shifting indicator toggle. This would work like the Model S and X to change gears, as well as very clearly showing if you are in drive, park, or reverse. I went back and forth on the direction for this because you push the shifter down for drive, but swiping up makes more sense to go forward. I settled on this because pushing down the stalk and the indicator going up still makes sense in a weird way. And this is the same direction as used in the S and X now. No need to switch it. At the bottom is the lock button, as well as the front, trunk, and charge port button, followed by a selector for your profile. The profile selection is always on screen, more within reach of the driver, but out of the way. If you have multiple drivers for your car, you know that sometimes the car connects to the other person's phone and puts you in their profile. In my case, my wife's profile is slightly different from mine, so sometimes I'll get in the car at the same time as her and wonder why my mirrors are off from where I keep them set. Then I have to pop into a menu to see that her profile was selected. I also keep 2 profiles for driving, one for FSD beta, one without, so I can easily use regular autopilot when I get frustrated with FSD. One time I was wondering why I couldn't enable FSD, and at first was mad at the car, only to remember that I probably had the other profile selected. I had to open a menu just to see this and then change it. At the top now you see turn-by-turn directions. One reason some people love having a head-up display is being able to quickly see what your next turn is. Even while using FSD beta, this is important information to see. Now when we put the car into drive, you'll see that the lock button is still available at the bottom left, as well as the profile selector, while the other buttons are gone. Because obviously you don't want to open the frunk or the trunk or the charge port while you're driving. For Autopilot or FSD, I've made it very clear that it is enabled. There's no way you can miss this, and question if you're driving or the car is. This is important in my opinion, and version 11 made it even less clear as the autopilot icon is tiny. If you don't pay attention, this would turn yellow as a caution initially, and then red as a warning, making it very clear to the driver that they need to pay attention. I think this is very important as some people may have a hard time seeing that small icon, but having the entire speedometer area surrounded in a color makes it clear to the driver, even if they don't look away from the road, that autopilot or FSD is enabled or not enabled, and whether it's flashing yellow or red to let them know that they need to pay attention. Also on the left, I've added a button for FSD beta testers to easily tap and save a video clip. Currently, this is a tiny icon at the top middle of the screen and can be hard to reach and tap right after a disengagement in a curve or a turn without looking away from the road. So there you have it. What do you think? I know some people will hate this and some will like it, but again, don't pay attention to the design of the elements, just how they work. I think there's some functionality that's really missing in version 11, and there's much room to improve. The overall design is fine. I think the icons really need to be reworked. They just remind me of Facebook and old BlackBerry phones. Not that I hate color, I just think the icons themselves there's something about them that just doesn't look good to me. But as far as functionality, I think there's just so much that was taken away and changed that shouldn't have been, and there's still things missing that people have been asking for a while. So let me know what you think in the comments. Is there anything I missed? Is there anything that you would add that you think would be a good addition or a good change to the interface? Let me know. Alright, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time.